Hey guys, let's get more news from Steelers, but first don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your like. I don't believe he's going through his progressions. Chris Hoke thinks game still moving too fast for Kenny Pickett. Despite the Green Bay Packers being down two of their top cornerbacks in Jaire Alexander and Eric Stokes and missing a starting safety in Darnell Savage, the Pittsburgh Steelers' passing attack was pitiful yesterday. Led by QB Kenny Pickett, who threw for just 126 yards, the Steelers were not a threat through the air. On the KDKA Nightly Sports Call, former Steelers DT Chris Hoke said he doesn't think Pickett is going through his progressions. "I just think at times the game's still moving very fast for him. At some point, you've got to believe that it will slow down. I don't believe he's going through his progressions. He has to be able to go through his progressions and work through them. He's getting better protection now. Before, it was the complaint he's not being protected. He is getting protection now. He has got to stand, he's got to trust that, he's got to drive the ball and go 1, 2, 3. Work through the progressions, and I think he'll do better." It really was a contrast today. "We saw a young starting quarterback in Jordan Love doing that," Hoke said after the Steelers. "It's an issue that after 21 starts, Pickett still hasn't felt the game slow down for him if that's the case. There were a few throws yesterday where it didn't seem like he even looked beyond his first read, with one coming on 3rd and 3 with 1:13 left in the third quarter where Pickett was called out on the broadcast for telegraphing this throw to RB Jaylen Warren. From the looks of it, it seems like Pickett had his mind set on hitting Warren out in the flat and didn't even pay attention to the charging Devondre Campbell in coverage. With Pittsburgh in field goal range, that play could have ended in disaster for the Steelers. Take away all the fourth quarter heroics with Pickett and he simply hasn't been all that impressive. The fourth quarter comebacks and clutch genes are a part of his NFL story thus far, so I'm not discounting them, but it's not sustainable for Pittsburgh to win when Pickett can barely reach 100 passing yards against a banged-up secondary. As Hoke said, you have to think that the game will slow down for Pickett eventually, and at some point soon. But we're 21 games in and it hasn't happened yet. While the comparison to Love is a little bit of a stretch since Love has 2 more years of experience working against NFL defenses, even if it's just come in practice, he was a lot better than Pickett was on Sunday. At some point, it's fair to ask if the game will slow down for Pickett and if he can ever establish himself as a top-half starting quarterback in the league. Winning matters, and Pickett, S1. But we'll see if Pittsburgh can take care of business and win against the Cleveland Browns and/or the Cincinnati Bengals the next 2 weeks. Pickett needs to play better if the Steelers want to have a chance. Jaylen Warren passes 100 rushing yards, teams with Najee Harris to surpass 200 in Steelers win. Jaylen Warren's bank account already has taken quite the hit this season as the result of fines related to lowering his helmet. Enough that it is making him reconsider taking a keepsake from a momentous career landmark. "I was thinking of keeping my jersey for my first 100-yard game in the NFL," Warren said after the Pittsburgh Steelers' 23-19 win against the Green Bay Packers on Sunday. "But that's also a lot of money to pay. It's a business decision, you know? The league makes players pay for game-worn jerseys they don't return into circulation. So the soiled jersey Warren held in his hand after rushing for 100 yards on 15 carries Sunday might not end up framed on his wall or packed in a box. But hitting triple digits in rushing is a nice symbol of how far the Steelers' run game has come." Paced by a two-headed monster of Warren and Najee Harris, 82 yards on 16 carries, the Steelers produced a season-best 205 rushing yards against the Packers, their second most for a game since a Le'Veon Bell-led attack amassed 240 yards during a blizzard in Buffalo in 2016. Consider that they didn't reach 205 yards for 2023 until Week 4. "I know those guys are close," center Mason Cole said of Warren and Harris. "They want the ball every time. They both want the ball, but they both keep running well. It's a good 1-2 punch, and I think you see that kind of kick in as the season goes on." Sunday's game featured 8 runs of 10 or more yards, 5 from Warren, 2 from Harris and 1 on a scramble by quarterback Kenny Pickett. Harris's team-best 24-yard run in the fourth quarter was his 5th carry of at least 20 yards this season. Entering Sunday, only 3 NFL running backs had more. "We kind of know our identity as a run team now," Harris said, later adding, "The MVP is the O-line." The obvious aspect of the offensive line's play the past 2 weeks has been the insertion of first-round pick Broderick Jones into the starting lineup at right tackle. The Steelers have set season highs in rushing yards in consecutive games. That pleases Jones, who was unimpressed with the 166 yards the Steelers produced on the ground in a November 2 win against the Tennessee Titans in his debut in taking over for Chuck Okorafor. "I know the group we've got up front and running backs we have behind us," Jones said. "There's no way we shouldn't be able to get 200+ every game." In the wake of Warren having 88 yards and Harris 69 against the Titans, the Steelers' RB duo decided it needed a better on-field display of kudos for each other. So on Sunday, gone were the generic high fives, and in its place was a more choreographed air guitar display. But will the good times continue? The Steelers' next game is on the road against the team that entered Sunday with the NFL's #1 defense, the Cleveland Browns. In the team's first meeting September 18, the Steelers managed just 55 rushing yards on 21 carries. Still, it seems as if the Steelers' running game has found its footing over the 8 weeks since. "It feels that way." "It really does," Coach Mike Tomlin said. "But keep watching. You know how it is. We face a really stout defense here coming up this week from what I hear." Steelers urge to poach former $30 million starting linebacker from Panthers. The Pittsburgh Steelers suddenly have a major depth issue at linebacker. If it's not fixed quickly, then it could derail the 6-3 start the team has experienced through 10 weeks. For that reason, the Bleacher Report NFL staff argued that the Steelers should sign veteran linebacker Blake Martinez off the Carolina Panthers practice squad. "Blake Martinez is a good downhill run stopper," the BR NFL staff wrote. "He might struggle in coverage, but the Steelers don't have a lot of great options. Stealing Martinez from the Panthers practice squad might be as good as it gets." Martinez retired from the NFL in November 2022, but he returned to the league by signing with the Panthers practice squad on November 6. He is now in his 8th NFL season. Martinez has previous experience playing for the Green Bay Packers, New York Giants, and Las Vegas Raiders. The Giants signed him to a 3-year, $30.75 million contract ahead of the 2020 season. The Steelers have sustained 2 major injuries at linebacker in the past 2 games. First, Cole Holcomb suffered a season-ending knee injury in Week 9. On November 12, Quan Alexander tore an Achilles tendon, which will rule him out for the rest of 2023. Martinez hasn't played a game during the 2023 season, but he has plenty of NFL experience from his first 7 seasons. He started his career as a Green Bay 4th-round pick during the 2016 NFL Draft. He made the team and started 9 games as a rookie. During his second season in 2017, Martinez led the NFL with 144 combined tackles. That began a run of 4 consecutive seasons for Martinez where he posted at least 144 combined tackles. He also had more than 85 solos every year from 2017 to 20. After 4 years with the Packers, Martinez signed with the Giants in free agency during 2020. He starred during his first season with the team, registering 151 combined tackles, including 9 tackles for loss, 6 quarterback hits and 3 sacks. Martinez also had 5 pass defenses and an interception. But in 2021, Martinez suffered a torn ACL during Week 3. He missed all but 3 games that season, and the Giants released him the following preseason. Martinez signed with the Raiders practice squad on October 4, 2022. He then joined the active roster 3 days later, but after playing 4 games, he announced his retirement. In 84 NFL games, Martinez has posted 706 combined tackles, 39 tackles for loss, 18 quarterback hits and 13 sacks. He also has 22 pass defenses, 4 interceptions and 4 forced fumbles. As the saying goes, beggars can't be choosers. Holcomb and Alexander were Pittsburgh's top 2 inside linebackers in terms of snaps prior to their injuries. Without them, the Steelers will likely ask fellow veteran Landon Roberts to handle all that he can. Second-year linebacker Mark Robinson will also probably enter the starting lineup. With Alexander leaving in Week 10, Robinson played a season-high 41 defensive snaps. He had played 4 defensive snaps the entire season before Week 10. Still, the Steelers need inside linebacker depth, preferably depth with experience. But Martinez may not be the best fit in terms of what he does best. Martinez is a tackling machine and run stopper. Roberts already fills that role, and if what the Packers did through the air against Pittsburgh in Week 10 is evidence for anything, the Steelers need to add a linebacker better in coverage than against the run. Veteran linebacker Anthony Barr could be a better fit. The Bleacher Report NFL staff proposed the Steelers adding Barr on November 6 after Holcomb's injury. Barr posted a 59.9 coverage grade last season with the Dallas Cowboys according to Pro Football Focus. While that's not elite, Martinez had a 30.9 PFF coverage grade in a small sample last season. And you fan, what do you think of the Blake Martinez situation? Leave your opinion in the comments.